I'm wondering too, what are those tools that you've learned about or used in the past?
So I use a lot of positive.
Just some people react better to, like, what are you doing on the field?
Yeah,
Like, get on
for
your mat,
sure.
get on
Yeah,
your mark.
yeah.
So do you
Mhm.
think that the Olympic lifts translate like well to the field?
So well, you cannot imagine
Okay.
how much I want to actually do an ebook on this because it's
In the mixed division. Where are you? You're not here,
bro,
right?
bro. I'm walking on the field because I was going to play a O point. Like,
Hello and welcome to the Field of Mind podcast. Today we have Elliot Bonnet, the French superstar, here with us to chat. Elliot, bienvenue à la pod.
oh, nice, a little bit of French. Hello,
I think I
Chris.
messed that up too. My bad.
It was perfect.
Okay.
The how you said it was perfect. Good French accent. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. That's my high school French coming in clutch there.
Love it.
Okay. Elliot, the first question I have for you is I know that one of the tournaments that you recently went to was the London Invite with the French World Games team. I saw that the results maybe weren't what you had hoped for, but you finished off the tournament strong with a win against Tokay Super Team. I know that you're prepping for, again, the World Games in Chengdu coming up. I think it's in like 40 or 50 days. So you have maybe less than 2 months coming up. And the last cycle, when you were 18, you were an alternate for the roster. So this time you're on the full roster. You know, you're in full prep mode. You skipped the UFA and club season in the US to, focus in on the French World Games team. So first question that I have is, what does your week to week prep look like right now? Like, I was wondering, could you break that really in detail down? Because I wanted to hear about, what does it look like?
Yeah, sure. So first, yeah, I'm just coming back from London, and it was cool. The result was not expected, but we didn't expect it like much results, so
Hmm.
it's fine. The main goal is word game, so it's cool to it doesn't matter. So my like full week, like how does it look like right now is that I work on a high low intensity workouts. So just for my nervous system and my body to like recover between every high intensity workouts, I have one low intensity workout. So what is high intensity and low intensity is like high intensity is all about strength, speed, power, and things that are like very demanding, like mentally.
Mhm.
So like sprints and like things you have to like use like max speed, max power, max strength and everything. And low intensity is like all the light stuff. So upper body building or going to throw or cardio or conditioning, all those stuff.
Mhm.
So I work with this. I have one practice on Monday, one practice on Wednesday, and I do my I do a lift on Monday and Wednesday. I have practice at night, and I have another high intensity day on Friday, and then I'm low intensity between, and I have one day off every week.
Okay, so you have basically a double day, Monday, Wednesday, in terms of practice and a high intensity workout.
Yeah,
Friday's another high intensity. Tuesday,
hmm
Thursday, and then one of the weekdays you have a low intensity, and then one rest day.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
One rest day on usually Saturday and Sunday. I do low intensity, so I can go and throw, do like conditioning or stuff. But
Yeah.
like usually, like the big part of my week is like from Monday to Friday. So I have practice high intensity, then low intensity on Tuesday, then practice and high intensity, another lift on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm practicing with Quixotes right now. I'm in Madrid.
Mhm.
And then Thursday, low intensity. Friday, I go out for a field workout. And more, I'm doing like field workouts more than lifts because we're in season. So I'm like
Mhm.
more sprinting and changing of directions and everything on the field.
Gotcha. I think selfishly, that's one of the things that I wanted to ask about too, because that's not my area of expertise at all. So I'm wondering right now for those field workouts, like how long are those? What do those kind of look like? I know I saw on your YouTube you posted the breakdown of your ulti warm up, your pregame actual ulti warm up, and I actually really enjoyed watching that because I think even in all the warm-ups that I've done previously for practices and teams, it's like it's just a general body workout or like warm-up. I think there is some sports specific things, like we do A's, B's, like sprints, but
Hmm.
not the hips focused one way, shifting, changing direction, the
Hmm.
the Z cuts, like all of those things. I thought that, oh, I can see the value in making it very ultimate specific. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering, yeah, what does that field workout look like?
There's a lot of sprinting, changes of direction, and things that you like found on the field. So there's like top speed sprints. There's like first steps acceleration. There's change of directions, and also a lot of bounds that I do this season.
Mm,
This season, it's not something that enough people does, I think, but
mm,
it's just so important to hop and bound in on the field, like skips and also like leaping strides and everything, single leg, both legs, also doing it, changing directions, and it
yeah.
helps your like to create power and also like having more strength in lower body, but also upper body. Your upper body has to like know how to like be strong enough to resist those changes of direction for the like energy not to like spread away.
I feel like even those small things about, preparing and making sure that your upper body is engaged and like active, like that is
Hmm.
something that is not intuitive. I think people need to be made aware that you should focus on that first. Like a lot
Hmm.
of the times when I'm talking to especially people that are learning to throw, for example, for the first time, like even talking about, oh, you want to put your weight on equally on your feet, you want to be balanced when you throw, like
Hmm.
those are maybe simple things that I take for granted that I just intuitively do. So for example, with running, like if you were coaching somebody that is a complete beginner, like what do you think are those, high level, maybe not as intuitive, but you just do those things automatically because you're aware of it? What are those things that you ask them to do and focus on first?
I would talk about like the core engagement and everything. Like we're
Mm,
always thinking about the lower body because it's where you touch the ground, like your foot touches the ground, so it's very important. You will push with your legs, with your glute, with your hamstrings and everything.
mm,
But also if like your upper body is like the balloon like this, like you will
yeah.
just like lose some energy and you won't be able to create strength. And like if you want to create strength, you have to be stable. And that's why
Mm,
when you see like sprinters, like I don't know, like 100-meter sprinters, like even the upper body is like very strong, so nothing moves, and they can only use the stability created by the upper body to like
mm,
go on straight line and go fast. So I would like one of the things I would say is like be like if you had a like something that is pulling you here, and be like engage your core and like look straight and also hit the ground under your hip, because sometimes I see people like going far with their foot in
mm,
front, but like where you have to put your foot is like under your hip, because
yeah.
if not it would be like just if like you put a stick in front of you and the energy will go, you're going this way, but if your leg is like planting in front of your hip, the energy will just go this way in your leg, but you want to go the other way, so you will just lose some energy. So yeah, there's just like tiny things that you have to think of when you want to go fast and when you want to be stronger.
Yeah, the physics and science part of my brain is coming back to all the force diagrams and like vectors, change of direction. And
Yeah.
for the people that are just listening through audio only, what Elliot was doing was, I think he was
Right.
imagining like a string from the top of your head as if you're like a
Exactly. Yeah.
puppet. You want to stay
Uh-huh.
very aligned, upright, and not be like hunched over, I guess, is one of the
Hmm.
main things that you
I forgot
suggest.
that people only listen
Yeah,
sound.
it's okay. No, we're just getting the reps in, you know? You got to get
Uh-huh.
used to it too. One of the things that I wanted to check in on related to, again, the workouts, was that is one thing that is relatively new to me too. Is just going to the gym consistently, tracking the nutrition macros. I know in your program you give your clients specific things related to tracking their stress, their sleep, all of the conditions beforehand, and also their workouts. So I'm wondering, for running specifically, do you also do that in terms of, okay, like you film yourself and see what your running form is like? Do you, time yourself when you're doing these reps throughout week to week? Or what is the tracking like for running?
For running, you can like simply like track your like the time of your like 10 meters, 10 yards or stuff. But
Mm.
also you can like, I don't do it, but I could. But what could be interesting and is seeing the time of being in the air and the time of ground contact, and you can like
Oh.
define a profile to know if this person needs more to work on speed or work on strength and all this. And like, there's a lot of like things to see on like on running techniques and everything.
So there's like layers. Oh, this is the stuff that I have never learned about. I didn't realize how many layers and how much, I guess, tech there could be to measure and
Yeah, there's way
specifically
more
target
than
what you need
this.
to improve.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
way more than
okay.
this. And like, uh yeah, ground contact, ground like flying, I don't know how you say it in English, but like time of uh, being in the air.
Mm.
And I also have an app where you can like see, like put some dots on every joint, so you can like see
Oh, okay.
the technique of each athlete, and then you can like improve. And like, I think generally like recording yourself is just so important. I'm sure you can like say it for throwing, and it's the same for like everything, for a squat, for
Yeah.
jumping, for running, for everything. If you want to improve yourself, you have to like see yourself from outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I found that
Hmm.
too. I know because I post a lot around throwing, I get a lot of questions about, I this is the one that I think I appreciate but also annoys me the most, where they ask like, Sichan, how do you throw? Like, I'm having problems with my flick. Like, how do I throw better? And I'm like, there are so many
Yeah,
questions and things that I would need to see before I could give you detail, other than just
exactly.
go and get reps. But one of
Hmm.
the easiest ways for me to give feedback that I tell people, and it's also, I think, a gate for me to check, like to tell how invested they are. But I literally just say, I have posted a video about me throwing 10-yard throws from the angles that I would want to see and record from, and then also from hucks, and I literally just want you to record that and send it to me, and then I'm happy to give my thoughts and feedback. And
Hmm.
then like so few people actually send it, but the people that
Yeah,
do, I'm like, okay, you're clearly invested, you clearly want to improve, and you're
yeah.
doing it. Then give
Hmm.
the specific feedback, because you're exactly right. Like, there's so many small things that could be the problem or the issue, and they all affect the other things. So I
Hmm.
imagine it's the same thing for running too.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, yeah. There's like,
Oh,
there's no way of like, there's not one good answer. It depends on the problem. There's like, there's no good tools. There's a good tool for a specific problem.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So for folks that have questions about running form, do you I can cut this out too if you want, but like, if they have running form issues and they want to send film or get feedback, would that be something that they can send to you?
Uh, they can, but
Mm.
mostly I have more questions about weightlifting. Lastly,
Oh, okay.
and like, because I have a degree in physical science, physical training, and I
Mhm.
was specialized in weightlifting, and
Oh, wow. Okay.
posted I posted like Olympic lifting, like clean and jerk and snatch,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like I help few people to like get better in their clean technique. So yeah.
I was wondering how much do you think that the Olympic lifting translates to like ultimate related skills? Because I know, again, one of the things that you've mentioned is you want to make you don't want to just train like a bodybuilder. You want to make it more sport specific in terms of your workouts and also on field workouts. So do
Mhm.
you think that the Olympic lifts translate like well to the field?
So well, you cannot imagine
Okay.
how much I want to actually do an ebook on this, because it's insane how it helps. Because like, it creates power, so
Mm,
moving big weights fast, so you need this to like um sprint faster and like have stronger few like first steps.
mm,
Also the angles, where you when you work on like clean and jerk, especially high cleans, like you use the same angle as when the one you use to sprint.
mm.
You use also triple extension, which is like the extension of your ankle, knee, and hip, and you need
Yeah.
this to start a sprint on the
Yeah.
first step. And also other thing about proprioception and knowing where your weight is on top of your foot, and like knowing how your body is in space helps a lot. Like you improve this in weightlifting, and it helps a lot on the field where like you need to feel your body above your inside foot when you want to cut or things like this, or what you when you want to throw. And it's just like it's not because you don't have a disc in your hand. It's not exactly the same movement that it doesn't improve, and it's not like you cannot improve on the field.
Yeah, it's
How do you
very.
say? Yeah, yeah.
No, go for it. Sorry.
I don't have the word. Like it's not like translatable. How do you say in
Mm,
English?
yeah,
Tran Yeah,
translatable. It doesn't transfer over
translatable.
one to one.
Yeah, exactly. On the field.
Yeah. What is it in French? How would you say it?
Transférer.
Okay, I'm sure
Transfer.
that some of our listeners will know. Oh, like the phrase or like the thing that you couldn't translate.
Yeah, transférer sur le terrain. Transfer on the field. It's actually exactly the same.
Oh, okay, okay.
Transfer, transférer.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Ooh. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think the reason why I asked too is because my trainer from his name is Rui Carvalho. He also plays on the Rush, and he's my personal trainer, and he also has kind of told me about how Olympic lifting is extremely helpful for just translating
So,
to the ultimate field. So to
so
hear it
good.
also from you, I'm like, okay, I have two sources of info that I can very confidently say they are very strong ultimate players from the athleticism standpoint. So I feel like I need to think more seriously about adding that into my game.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe like even also the reception, because
Mm,
the like some people doesn't want to improve completely and like lose time in learning clean and jerk or snatch,
yeah.
because they're like, what if I just like do another movement and it will have the same, like, will bring me as much as a clean and jerk.
Mm,
But I think it's like you could like lose sometimes, because it's not losing, because after you will like gain so much times by having learned this skill. Because also one more thing is that one of the most technique part is like getting under the bar and like having it
yes.
on your shoulder. It could be a little bit scary, like to have a weight like on top of your shoulders that is coming like with speed. But this motion is so important in frisbee, because when you want to decelerate, like you like have hard steps on the ground, and it's
Hmm.
exactly what happens when you like catch the weight and like slam your feet on the ground. Like this eccentric movement
Oh,
is like exactly the same, so
I see.
it helps also.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay,
Hmm.
now yeah, it's encouraging me more and more that I need to incorporate it into workouts.
Yeah,
So in this, like even in season, is this part of your program right now too?
yeah. I in season I do. I don't do like this like eccentric part. I more focus on concentric and isometric and plyometric like movements,
Hmm.
contractions. But definitely I use like weightlifting during my whole season. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And for the folks that maybe don't have the sport background, because I definitely don't, can you kind of walk us through or kind of explain to us what the difference is between concentric, eccentric
Yeah.
movements, isometric maybe, and like what that
So
looks like again of in your workout and then how it applies to the field?
mhm. So concentric is when a muscle is contracting and like the two furthest points are coming towards towards each other. So if you
Hmm.
have a weight in your hand and you wanted to do a bicep curl, is when you bring the weight towards yourself for your bicep.
Hmm.
Your bicep is in concentric contraction at this moment, and then when you go down, the 2 points the furthest of the bicep are like going away from each other. So this is
Hmm.
eccentric. So we're translated to a squat, it would be like when you go down, your quads are contracting like eccentric, and when you go up, it's concentric. Isometric is when you don't move, like contracted but nothing moves. And plyometric, a lot of person like has some mistakes on it, because plyometric is not only jumps. Plyometric is like pairing reflex contraction with the um, how do you say in English, with the like intentional contraction. So we have a reflex that when your muscle is stretching,
Mhm.
the reflex would be to contract it directly. So you know the test when you're like sitting and someone is hitting your knee and your leg does like this kick. This is the reflex I'm talking about. So in French, it's myotatic reflex. I think it's myotatic reflex in English, maybe. So the goal of plyometric is to pair this contraction with voluntary contraction, so you can go higher. For example, in a jump. So if you jump from a box and like when you land, your like quad will stretch a little bit. So the reflex, so the like information will go to your spine, come back directly, and not even go to your brain, go back directly to your muscle. So the reflex is to contract. And if this reflex is paired with your voluntary contraction of saying like, yeah, I want to jump, you will go higher. So this is plyometric. And like you need a very fast ground contact, lower than 250 milliseconds. So it's like very short, so a quarter of a second, to use this plyometric contraction. So if you're landing, waiting, jumping, this is not plyometric. You have to like land and directly jump. So this is
That makes
plyometric.
so much sense. Oh my god, I've never learned that. I'm so glad. Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And like when you will see like content on Instagram or I don't know what, seeing like plyometrics of like plyometrics and people are just jumping and not having like this short ground contact or like this like little like reflex that they didn't use. This is not plyometric. This is just like jumping. It's also cool. It's also like great, but it's not called plyometric.
And is my understanding correct in that in Ultimate, again, a lot of the times you're running into a jump, into a 1 foot or 2 foot. So that is very much plyometric. Like you're loading your foot or your leg, one or the other. And
Exactly.
it's about that time. Okay. That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Okay.
If the ground contact is fast enough, this is plyometric. Yeah.
Okay. I see.
Yeah. So if you're like in a jump or like every time you run, every time one foot touches the ground or stuff like this.
And when you're training plyometrics, I imagine too a huge benefit because you mentioned the quarter of a second timing, which I guess qualifies the plyometric.
Mhm.
The mind muscle connection, the kind of I guess proprioception, the awareness, just the mind, the like neuro part, the neurological connection part is one of the biggest things you're training when you're going
Yeah,
through those repetitions. Is that fair to
exactly.
say?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And like you really need to be rested. So that's why I'm doing high and low intensity. Because if you're doing
Oh,
high intensity every day, your central nervous system will be like just so tired and won't be able to react this fast. So it won't be even plyometrics and you will be like just more tired and more tired and will not even train on speed and everything. So you really
yeah.
have
So
to
that
be rested when you do those kind of stuff.
okay, gotcha. And that's why you have the tracker for sleep, for stress. All those things affect the central nervous system's
Mhm.
responsiveness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with my athletes that I have, I use a tool that is called the Wellness. It's used by a lot of physical trainer, and it's so because training is not about only about body, but it's also mind and like tracking your sleep. It's not very like accurate, but at least I have an image of how my athlete is feeling. I can like
Mm,
track his a little bit of his sleep, his stress, his anxiety,
mm.
and like his energy and stuff. So if the wellness is like dropping, maybe injury risk are like getting high. So maybe I have to manage the load to like avoid those things. So this
Gotcha.
is why I'm also like aware of those things.
Okay, sweet. And from just to dig a bit more into it, from the I guess the central nervous system aspect of you want to be rested, is that important for the automatic reflex response? Is it important for the like conscious you want to contract, those muscles right after during that timing, or is it important to both?
It's important to both actually. More for intentional contraction because a reflex
Okay.
is a reflex. You cannot
Mm,
like control it. But if you're like voluntary contraction, if your nervous system is too tired, you cannot like contract as fast and like give the information to your muscle as fast. So like it won't be at the same time.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. And
Mhm.
maybe to sum things up for people that are maybe newer ultimate players, or maybe they've played for a handful of years and they've never really gotten to the gym consistently, or worked on the specific periodization plans of this is when you're doing strength, this is when you're doing plyometrics, all those things. Do you have any suggestions for where to start for them? Like, what would you do if you were teaching maybe a high school group that is this is their first year or two playing competitive ultimate? What would you suggest for them to start with?
Um, the first thing I would say is like just focus on the basics. Like all the fun stuff that you see on Instagram, there's a lot of good stuff, but also a lot of bullshit. And and so yeah, there's like so much good stuff. What I said just before is that there is no bad exercise or good exercise. There is like some good tools or like tools that are not like good for the answer. Like it's like if you say, "Oh, this exercise is great." No, this exercise is great if you want to improve this. It's like if I say, "Oh, I don't know, a hammer is a good tool." No, a hammer is not a good tool if you want to paint a bedroom. Like it's like there's good tools for good problems. And in physical training, it's exactly the same. You cannot say like there's one good thing uh for everything. Like there's like every exercise is like a tool and you have to use it to answer a problem. So what I would say to come back to your answer to your question,
Mm.
sorry, is like focus on basics, squat, hinge, sprint, and bench and lift. Like just need a strong upper body, a strong structure, and focus on speed, on strength, and on power.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that I think one of your big focuses again is having holistic, like upper body too. You have to be able to contract, you have to be able to be stable. And it
Mhm.
sounds like for beginners, especially I can speak from my own journey of learning too. I feel like the biggest unlock was just becoming more aware of what my body should feel like during certain movements, like doing
Mhm.
things safely. It felt
Yeah.
so boring at the
Mhm.
beginning, just doing the same movements over and over. But that was the huge value I found, at least in having a trainer, which
Mhm.
was, if you are solo, it's very hard to know if you're doing things right or wrong for the goal in mind. Like, and in weightlifting, it's like with throwing again, it's you can probably work on your throws very easily by yourself and get a lot of reps in. But if you have an experienced, coach, then they're able to pinpoint, okay, these are probably the biggest things you should focus on or pay attention to. And it sounds like the same thing with gym working out. It's when you are working out for the first time, you want to build the awareness of the basics. You want to get, a sense of those biggest tools in the toolbox, the most important ones,
Mhm.
but you also want to make sure that you're using them correctly and safely. So that's
Yeah.
that's what the shortcut is if you have a trainer or help somebody to help you with that.
Yeah, sure. And like manage the
Awesome.
load, go progressively. Don't go to from 0 to 100 in 1 week. Just take your
Yeah,
time. It's a very long journey.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, we spent a lot of time on the physical side of the game, which I appreciate. I think that was one of the things that I really wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to switch gears now into the mental side of the game because, again, you've spoken quite a bit about that. I remember from listening to some of the things that you've said before that people were impressed. So, for example, I think when people were asking Nas for references for if you were a good player to play on the breeze or on truck, they had been impressed, or one of the things that was mentioned was it was impressive at such a young age how developed your mental game was. For me, I know from my experience that that was a huge step that I had to take as well. So I guess the quick story for myself and my journey is during university, I was always a strong handler, but again, I didn't have too much of the athleticism. But in university, when you're playing against other players, just having good throws is great. But I found that when I would make one mistake with throwing, that one mistake would cause me to get in my own head. And then I'd make more and more mistakes. I just downward spiral. And the thing that helped me was just learning about mindfulness. So focusing on the present moment, being able to reset, take those deep breaths, focus in on the present moment, remember why I'm playing and what the reasons are that I'm out in the field. So I wanted to dive into your experience as well. So how did you learn about mindfulness? What are the things that you like to do before a point, before a game? You know, will that change looking ahead to World Games? Like, I want to dig really into how did you learn about the mental side of the game and what does that look like?
First, thank you for like complimenting my mental abilities and stuff. Yeah, I never been someone very like who was like getting very nervous or like angry on the field. Maybe it's because of my education. I don't know. Um, maybe it's. I think it's because of my education, and also like my education learned me that if you want to have something, you have to work, and I really early understood that if I want to perform, I have to be like ready physically, but also mentally. Now I'm followed by a mental preparator with French team for World Games, and so we like checked all the tools that I use and some that I don't use, so I could like use them even more to like perform even more. And yeah, I think it's like people like athletes in general really need to like be aware of this mental part because like really really important. Mhm.
I'm wondering too, what are those tools that you've learned about or used in the past?
So I use a lot of positive speaking with myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like compliment myself a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like saying to yourself that you can do it, like saying it becomes your reality.
Mm.
So like if you say that you're not good, you won't be good. If you say that you're good, you have maybe the occasion to maybe being good. So like just talking to yourself is was my first weapon.
Can I ask
And
quickly too about that? How often does that happen? Like, is that in practice? Is that in games? Like, where did that start? And how frequently does it happen?
it's also a lot in practice because like it's just like if you want like do like your series of squats right before the game, so you have it's the same for mental part. You have to practice it before the game, like weeks, months, years before. And at the beginning, it was not working. I have one tool that I use especially for O points. At the beginning of each O point, I have like a little thing that I do with my hands to like focus myself.
Mm.
And at the beginning, when I created it, there was a lot of sense. Like when I did it, so it was like very personal for me, but it was not working. Like it was doing nothing to myself. But I
Mm.
liked it because it was making some sense when I was like doing it. And now when I do it, it really does something like in my body, and like I feel like that my blood pressure, I don't know, like
Yeah.
BPM is like everything is going down, and I'm like very calm, and I'm very ready to focus on. So yeah, it's like not something that you do only during the championship, but it's also something that you have to practice like during all year, during all season before coming on the field. Yeah.
Yeah. A sense of calm kind of washes over you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have like this
I
thing that I know if I do it right now, it will like just go down, and it's like it's
Is that
crazy.
something that you'd prefer to keep to yourself? Or I'm wondering, like, do
I'm
you.
doing this. It's just
Oh,
like if I had um, um, a watch, and in French we say mettre les pendules à l'heure, which is uh, put the watches uh, at the good hour.
on the hour?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, on the hour, but it means like um, how would I like translate this saying? I don't know. Like you just set everything to zero,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you'll
It's
just
almost
like
recenter
say,
yourself.
yeah, exactly. So I just act like I'm like doing this on a watch and putting the hour at zero, and I go back to zero. And so I'm doing
Okay.
this and like just doing it right now, and I feel like more relaxed.
Nice.
So yeah,
And it's
I'm
so
doing.
it's physical in terms of an
Yeah,
action.
it's physical. At the beginning, it was not like helping at all. Like
Mm.
I just liked doing it because like I was just watching my wrist and doing it, and it helped me a little bit. And now it's even like physical. I feel something in my belly, in my lungs, and like I feel like I'm like getting like way more calm, and I can start anything with like not getting stressed at all.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. Do you
Yeah,
think that that is? Oh, sorry. Go for it.
it's insane. Like I didn't thought it could go this far. It's like at the beginning it was not doing anything. Now it's like my tool, and I know I will use it on my career.
Oh, gotcha. And for
Mhm.
people again that maybe want to incorporate some sort of physical or mental reset into their routine, what was that? Was there a specific moment where it started working for you, or do you just think that it was after a few, after a certain amount of repetitions, like it just started working?
After a certain amount of repetition, it was not from one day to the other. It was
Mm,
like doing it over and over and over and over again, and
yeah.
not after like a little bit it started to like do something for real because my I think my brain associated like this thing to like okay we have to focus, and now it's just my shortcut to be focused, and
You have
it's
that
like
mind muscle connection of just
yeah
calming down.
it's
That's
just
awesome.
insane. Yeah,
That's amazing. I think that
yeah,
was also very similar to my experience with the mindfulness breaths too. So
yeah.
I'm not sure if you've have you explored. I'm assuming you have explored the.
Yeah, I use also breathing. I
Yeah.
breathe while doing this,
Mm,
and yeah, usually I only do this. The thing I like don't use the most is like visualization. Like I use
mm.
it a little bit, but I think I could use it more. But yeah, you want to say something? Sorry.
Oh, I was going to ask too the visualization in terms of like what you want to see on the field, or literally visualizing the watch.
Both. I
Okay.
visualize the watch, but also like I don't know, during a throwing session, I visualize the shape that I want to throw and everything to like I learned that the part of your brain that uses visualization and the part of your brain that actually does the motion of a throw is the exact same. So, like visualizing a throw would mean that you will have one more rep without even throwing a disc. So, like, it's just like 3 reps.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
why if maybe so I've heard those things about or the results about some people that even just visualize reps, not even doing them, they can still see some benefit. So
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense too. If you're visualizing and also throwing, you just get almost a multiplier on those repetitions in that
Yeah.
effort.
Yeah.
That's
For sure. It's
so
insane.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a study where like a group of people, a basketball player, did some free throws like with a real ball, and
Yeah.
the other one did the same but without throwing any ball, just like visualizing it, and
Yeah.
the like the amount of after a month, this group like was shooting for real, and the other one was just visualizing it, and both increased their score by like the same amount. So like it's just 3 reps to visualize yourself throwing or doing stuff. I also have a I know someone in France that was injured to his arm or wrist, I don't remember, and he couldn't throw, but he was visualizing him throwing. And when he
Wow.
took off the thing, he was like just throwing like if he never had the injury.
That's
It's
amazing.
just an amazing like brain is amazing.
I guess the main way that I also learned the mental side of the game or implement it is very similar to, I think, your experience, where I was doing the mindfulness kind of breathing. And I think from a physiological experience or perspective, just the deep breathing, the inhale and exhale for, inhale for 4, exhale for 6, just physiologically calms you down. So
Hmm.
I felt those immediate benefits, but then I would practice that outside of practice. And what I found was after doing that a significant amount of times, maybe for a month, a few times before practice or every day or for 15, 10 minutes, that the result was when I was on the field, I would just notice when I was in my head a lot more. Like I would be aware of when I was stressed or not. And then I would do the deep breath. and then again I just have that sense of calm wash over me. It was
It's
just, okay,
insane.
I'm back.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of feeling, I think, but I
Hmm.
really like the physical aspect of it too, where
It's awesome.
just imagining something as well as the physical reset. It's just reinforcing that sense or that cue. I think that's a really good, just yeah, thing to share or think about for people. Awesome.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. Like training mentally is like very hypnotizing, and
Yeah.
when you see the results, you like didn't even know that it could be possible. It's awesome.
Yeah. I feel like it is one of those things where it's, you can describe it as much as you want, but you won't understand it until you experience it. Just the
Maybe, yeah.
sense of, I have control over my own sense of mental well-being and energy and headspace, and being able to flip it, recognize it and flip it. That has been
Yeah.
such the transformational piece for me.
Yeah, yeah. Recognize it is also very difficult. Like you could be
Yeah.
angry, but like you're just so much in your angriness that you don't even realize that you're angry. And then when you realize it, you use your tool, you come back to reality. And it's like it's a huge trade, like effort, work on yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, super awesome.
Mm.
One of the things that I also wanted to ask about is, I know that in a previous pod as well, you mentioned the mindset difference that perhaps some of the French teams or French youth specifically have, that you've attributed success against, some of the quote unquote favorites when it comes to the international tournaments. So you mentioned the US and Canada, for example. And I know that, at least hearing from a lot of my friends that have played on Team Canada, it is that same kind of headspace of when they play against the US, it's not that they're less athletic or less skilled significantly, but the disparity in score is just some sort of, again, mental block or mental kind of aspect of, oh, we're up against the best, we need to perform at our best, so that performance pressure kind of affects their play in a negative way. So I wanted to dig into that a little bit more about what you think is that headspace difference or thing that separates maybe the teams that are able to play under that pressure against the, you are the underdog, versus teams that maybe crumble under that pressure. What do you think? That is there a common thing between individuals? Is it a team thing? Is it a thing that you work on as a team? Like, what do you think about that whole concept?
I think there's not only one good answer. I think like everything that you said is true. That it's about individuals, about the team. It's something that you can work by yourself with the team and stuff. And um, like it's true that there was. I feel like it's less and less, but like teams that are scared to play the U.S. because it's like the U.S. But more and more France and other countries and other players show that it's possible to beat them.
Yeah.
Not that they are like worse than like the previous years, but like they're still at the top of the world, and it's just like if you believe in it and if you play the basic stuff, the fundamentals, it's like possible to beat them. And I think also US is happy like to have this adversity and like this challenge to now have more teams that are like at their level or almost, because I still think that the US is on top.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's interesting.
They're getting pushed a little bit more from the
Yeah.
international competition.
Yeah.
The two things that stuck out in my mind were, one is, it's the belief part, and I think that even the huge beach win, the upset that Team France conclude or performed in the semifinals, and pulling through in the finals and winning, like that's just a one of the results that kind of strengthens both, I guess, French but also international hopes of, oh, they are beatable. Like
Hmm.
that helps with the belief side. So it's the past results. But it's
Yeah.
also, I liked the call out, and it reminded me again of what you mentioned before of focusing on what you can control. It's like focusing on the throws. I think you said, 100% on the throws, 100% on the catches, 100% on the cuts. And
Exactly.
that's where your headspace goes. It's not on who we're playing, even though it's really hard when you're looking at across the field on the line and it's the red, white, and blue, and it's all the people that you've seen on film and everything. But it
Hmm.
sounds like that's where the mental game part comes in of, okay, I see that, I notice it, I reset, do the check the watch,
Mm-hmm.
make sure my everything's aligned. I forget what the French phrase is, but once you have that reset, okay, I acknowledge it, I see it. Let's check in on myself. Let's reset individually, but also as a team, so that
Mm-hmm.
nobody is not on the same page. And
Mm-hmm.
then you perform on what you can control. That makes a lot
Mm-hmm.
of sense to me. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
cool.
for sure. There's two
Oh,
things I want to come back on. First, I
yeah.
love the fact that we are still talking about this win, even though it was like 1 year and a half ago. And I love it. Like it was an insane game. It was like one of the best. Like when you watch the stats at the end of the game, it's one of the best beach ultimate frisbee games that existed. So like three turns in the entire game, one
Yeah.
100% of the turns that got converted in a break. Like it's just like awesome. It was very good frisbee. And the other thing is that you said that control what you can control and like don't care about the thing you cannot control. And like this is also a very big thing about my like mental preparation about like just like if you cannot control it, don't control it. Don't try to spend some energy in controlling it. For example, referees, like in UFA, I see way too much people like pouting and shouting to the injuries, to the referees. Sorry. Sometimes it helps people to like pout and shout to the referees, but like when you think about it, like you cannot do anything. Like so, just don't spend your energy where you cannot, like where you won't have anything back. So yeah, this is a big part of my mental preparation also.
Gotcha. I think one of the things that this reminds me of a lot, and it's a question that I also wanted to ask you because I think it'd be really interesting to hear your take. But I know that ego as a perspective or a topic is very, I think, just relevant in sports in general. So, for example, on one side, positive ego, you have a certain level of confidence and awareness in your skill, and you're not necessarily a healthy ego means, in my mind, somebody that is very confident in their level of play. They are resilient to stresses in terms of external conditions, like you had mentioned. Maybe somebody with an unhealthy ego is very much dependent on how they're feeling. So maybe, they're feeling extremely good. They're making good plays and they're at the top of their game in the world. They're beating everybody. But then when something doesn't go their way, when they feel against a bit of pressure, they, maybe lash out in terms of the refs or yelling at teammates, yelling at opponents, whatever. So I'm wondering, do you have any thoughts on what is the difference between a healthy and unhealthy ego?
I never asked myself this, but I really
Hmm.
like your answer. I don't really have an answer actually, but yeah, I really
I
like I really like yours.
Thank you. I know that the reason why I brought it up too is because I think that that is one of the things that people are likely impressed by when they hear you speak or talk about the mental side of the game. Again, I know that it's relatively, I guess, rare for people in the ultimate space to even train consistently from the physical side. So to have somebody at such a relatively young age to have the athletic background to train and also again the mental aspect of training, it doesn't really surprise me that you don't have an awareness of maybe the negative side because that you've only known the positive. Like that's the feeling that I get at least. And
Mhm.
I think one of the things that I realized through my journey was my self-talk, actually, and this is one of the things that I'm taking away, is unfortunately what I learned early on, and I think I've relied on a lot, was negative self-talk. It was actually, oh, like you're not good enough, you're a shit player, like how could you miss that throw? And obviously in the moment that would negatively affect my play, but in the short or medium to long term it would kind of help because it would push me to work harder or like do the workouts even though I'd like kind of hate myself. The analogy that I really like to think about is like a dirty or clean fuel. So for example, that negative self-talk is like a dirty fuel, so that's what I think
Mhm.
about when I think about negative ego. So I'm kind of two mindsets because I think that obviously it would be beneficial for most people to have a healthy ego and like positive mindset. But I also am of the thought of, use what you have to a degree. Because at the end of the day, sports is it's very, winner takes all. There's only one, team that's in first. So if
Mhm.
you get there by, being the healthiest, most aware player, or you get there using negative self-talk. That's not like my judgment. I'm not sure if I have a perspective on like what is better or worse. But for me, what I'm trying to do at least is rely a bit more on the healthy ego. But I just thought it was an interesting conversation because again, I've never really talked about this much with people. So
Yeah,
that's why I had asked the question.
yeah, and like there is never black and white, as you said. Like there's
Yeah.
always like you could use both. You could use like um negative talking just as a dirty fuel, as you said.
Mm.
I know a lot of players that loves when the coach is like yelling on them and everything.
Yeah.
There's people that works like this. There's people that doesn't like it, and it makes like the job of the coach even more difficult. But
Yeah.
like it's never black and white, and I think even one player can use both, and so yeah, it's never like one extreme or the other.
Yeah. That's interesting too.
Mhm.
In your experience, do good coaches, is that one of their main skills? Like being able to know what motivates the individual athletes or team in general?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, shout out to Lauren Boyle, that I loved in Breeze, and she was very good at adapting to every players and talk to them in a different way and very like adapt to each person.
Mm. Can you break that down quickly, maybe, of what does that look like? Is that one-on-one conversations? Is that check-ins on how you like to be communicated with, or what does that mean?
Yeah, it was like the way players like to have some feedbacks. So, for example, we had a sheet on like
Mm.
how do you like to be talked to, how
Wow.
do you talk to people, and stuff. And like, so the coach were very aware of this, so they could like go to their players and like express what they have to say, and the best way for the player to like listen to it,
Yeah.
because if she would yell at me, I would listen, and if she would like say it calmly to another player, maybe he won't listen either. I love when people are like talking very calmly to me and
Mm.
like just like say ABC and like a conclusion and like help me like in a good way. This doesn't mean anything, but like come with the problem and the solution and say it calmly. If you just shout on me, I will not listen. And some
Yeah.
people love when like they're like being shout at, and like it's just I think very important for every coach is to know how their players react to each way of communicating.
Yeah. Just some people react better to, yo, like what the fuck are you doing on the field?
Yeah,
Like get on
for
your mat,
sure.
get on
Yeah,
your mark.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I know that like I'm not receptive at all to this, and like there's people that love it. It's
Yeah.
we're different. Mm.
I think that's one of the things that I really appreciated with. I was a practice roster with Goat from Toronto, and a couple of the tournaments that I went to. One of the things that I found really, I guess, transformational in my experience was I had always the perspective that, oh, if people are having an aggressive conversation, again, I think I respond better to the calm kind of type or conversation as well. But I almost witnessed the duality of it, where they would have conversations in terms of, after a frustrating point, someone would come off and say, I'm going to give a shout out specifically. I remember it was Mike McKenzie who came off on a point after a D point, and he was
Hey,
saying like, "Yo,
Mike.
guys, like, yeah," but he said like, "Yo, guys, like, what the fuck are we doing?" in an aggressive tone, but immediately followed it up with, "Hey, like, I'm not trying to be like or like aggressive. Like, what can we do to work on it?" And you could tell he was expressing that frustration that he had, but also in a way that the team understood. Hey, I'm on your team too. Like, we're not. It's not me versus you. We're all trying to
Yeah,
figure this out together.
I love
So
it.
yeah, I really like that call out too, because again, in sports, sometimes you don't have the time to say like, "Hey guys, let's have a calm conversation about this."
Hmm.
Sometimes it's like we have 20 seconds between this timeout and the start of play. What do we need to fix? We know we need to fix something. We're not trying to attack each other. Let's figure it out.
Yeah,
I really
exactly.
like that.
We're all in
I
the
really
same
like that.
boat, so just
Yeah,
help each other. I love
yeah,
the example of Mike of like just you can shout, but if you do it like if you construct your the what you want to say in a simple way, like this could help a lot. And like you can shout like he did, and if directly you have the tone, everything that goes with it, it's like it could help a lot.
yeah. For that sheet too that Lauren has, what are the breakdowns of like? Is it just a simple drop down of like I prefer kind of calm, cool, collected, or what was the? Was it like you fill in the details, or what was that?
Yeah, there was like every players and every questions,
Yeah,
and you just like answer the question the most in the most complete way. And it was not only for the coaches, but also like for each players. Like for example, on O line or on D line, like I know that I interacted way more with O line players because I was on O line, so I
yeah,
like read way more like the O line players to know how to talk to them and like because we were like a lot like talking to each other a lot, so like just
yeah.
knowing how people wants to be talked to is very important. So yeah, truck is
Gotcha.
very aware of this and it was like great.
It sounds like that's such a good system too, especially if you have team members that are traveling in or just like arriving and maybe not. I know when you were growing up too, you played on teams that were you didn't practice with. So
Yeah,
I imagine having that kind of sheet or awareness of your teammates when you show up to practice or to the tournament would be super helpful.
yeah, and like for a long time I was not practicing like from my 15 to 18, like maybe 3 years or 4 years I was not practicing, just only playing tournaments, that's it.
Yeah. Damn.
And that's also why I like stepped up physically, because I was like always like training and like
Yeah.
working out out on the field doing sprints and everything.
You had the baseline. You had the athleticism. That's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get to where you were at, 15. Okay, I have a couple of clips that I we were speaking about. I think you know what's coming up too.
No.
Maybe you don't. Okay,
I'm
okay. Let
I'm
me.
scared.
No, no, no. It's good. I swear. It's it's from the beach.
Oh, okay.
I
I never saw the
think you're
video.
here. You're
Catch
here
of
right
the
now.
year candidate. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you know
When
this? Do you remember this?
Yeah, I remember, but I didn't know there was a YouTube video of it.
Okay, yeah, Ulti World Catch of the Year, Elliot Bonnet. Come on, this would be on replay in my mind every day with the visualization. No,
Yeah, it was a horrible
El-
throw, a horrible like decision though, but like
horrible.
perfect throw, but horrible decision. When you see like I'm on the left of Nasser and
Yeah,
he throws a flick outside, and, like we'll just watch the video.
yeah. Okay, Elliot, I wanted to get your perspective on this clip too, so I'll play it out.
Nas faking, looking deep, shoots a blading flick, and it's Bonnet over Gabaldoni, stabbing into the air, respecting the body of the other player as they embrace after the epic high.
So, Elliot, I wanted to ask what was going on in your head at this moment. Do you remember?
At this moment, I saw Nasser with the disc, so I went deep first. And but I went deep, like I was just like I think I gave the disc to Nasser, so I went for a like give and go on the open side, but then went like way too far to go deep, but I still went deep because it's Nasser who had the disc.
Yeah.
And then like I went deep and like cut it like all the stack. It's horrible. And then Nasser still like took the decision to throw it to me, which is I don't think a good decision, because like I was on his left with like forcing flick. He had to like turn outside in flick to like go the other way. And it was like not a good decision, but he knows who he's throwing to. So it was just like a fun highlight, but it's not like representing the final. I think we played
Of course.
way more like better frisbee than this. And shout out to Gabaldoni also, who like so respectful, a very respectful player, and who was defending on me on this
Yeah, I think if I were, I think a lot of people, if they were in that position in such a high stress game, that's a tough non call to make.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's a clean jump.
Yeah,
clean
yeah, yeah.
catch.
I wanted to go left actually because I thought it would float a little bit more, and then I stopped and jumped with my like 2 foot jump because like it dropped way sooner than I thought. Oh, yeah, here. Normally I jump only with 1 foot, but this one was, and then I hit him with the disc. Sorry,
He's smiling
Gabardoni.
already.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
knows. Wow,
He's so respectful player.
that's awesome. Super cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
there was another play that I wanted to show you.
Mm,
One last one, and again, it's from the final, and I think you've
mm.
spoken about it before. Elliot, I know at this moment in time you're on the sideline on O line. It's about to be universe if USA scores. I want you to walk me through your thought process as you're seeing this on the field.
Up to Kawabata. Mott streaking deep. Higgins turning towards that
Very
sideline.
stressed at the moment. I was very stressed. But actually I was not watching. Actually here I was not watching because Nasser took us apart and started to say like we just have one job, we're online, we just have to score and that's it.
Mm.
So I was just like locked in and like I was going to go on the field and just score points as we did from the beginning of the game to the end. Um, but like even when we'll score it and at the end, like let's watch and after I say it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Resetting the disc.
Leo
Upfield,
Leo
on the
Stangenek
far
was cooking.
sideline. Looking. Choosing to reset instead. Give and go. In space. Up. Too far. Laying out. Diving catch from Riyadh for the France win. Huge upset in the mixed division.
Where are you? Are you not? You're not here,
Bro,
right?
bro, I'm walking on the field because I was going to play a O point. Like I didn't realize we won at this moment. Like I was just walking and like Nasser said we will play an O point. So in my head I was going to play an O point. Like I will just score a point. So I just saw Ulysse like having this huge layout. I saw it with my eyes. I was like, yeah, cool. Like I'm gonna play an O point. Like I didn't realize we won. And then Nasser like ran behind me and like shout like Elliot, we won. And like we like had this hug that I will always remember and there's this beautiful picture. But and then I realized it was just like insane. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Such
yeah.
a memorable moment. I'm sure that's a core memory for you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. He was like squeezing me so hard and like lifting me. It was like, yeah.
That's one of the things that you can keep in the visualization for
Yeah.
that's your mental reset. That's just the pressure, the pressure of that immense hug.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Cool. Sweet. Those are the two clips that I wanted to share. One of the other things that I wanted to ask about Elliot was if you had any shout outs for your international fans or some of the folks that are cheering you on going into World Games, specifically from France, perhaps. Do you have anything to say to them?
I would say thank you for like people all around the world that like pushes me and like gives me some energy. And merci à tout le monde aussi en France. Je fais en français. Merci d'écouter ce podcast. Merci de me pousser. And thank you to my family also that is always pushing me. I'm such in a good environment, and that's also why I'm performing, I think. I'm sure. So yeah, thank you to my friends, to my family, to my girlfriend, and also to my like people that supports me outside of all those like friends and family. So yeah, thank you to everyone, and yeah.
And also to Martini, your cat.
Of course, he's not there anymore, but of course.
No, that's okay. I'm glad that I'm so happy again because I could lean on my high school French and I understood what you were saying. So I'm
Oh,
glad.
nice, perfect. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Elliot, thank you again for the wonderful conversation. I feel like I've learned so much about, again, even the mental and physical side of the game. And I hope a lot of people can take value in the tips and tricks that we talked about today and just implement it in their game as well for Ultimate. So where can people find you if they want to reach out in terms of coaching or just follow your story and also follow your journey to the upcoming World Games in Chengdu?
Thank you, Hee-chan, first for this podcast because I loved it. And it was great to talk also. I loved it. And people can find me on Instagram, EB Athletic. They can also find me with my like personal account, Elliot Bonnet 11 on Instagram. And you can find my links in my bio to like know more about my programs and my personal like links and stuff.
Awesome. Thank you again, Elliot. Thank you again for watching. Now we are headed over to the bonus segment of today's podcast episode over on excelultimate.com. Use code FOM10 for 10% off your monthly subscription, where you can also get access to the premium library available on Excel Ultimate that is curated and created by Rowan McDonald for becoming a better Ultimate player. Thanks again for watching. See you over there. Peace. So can you show Martini to the crowd if that's okay? I have to ask.
Of course.
That segues really nicely into what is Elliot Bonnet like outside of Ultimate. And then the 3 or 4 months preceding the season, I had gone back home to Vancouver and I had just gone through a breakup. So then I was sad. So I just ate so much food. I gained like 20 pounds when I went back to Vancouver.